Hey guys, so I'm gonna go over some things I was looking at today in the market, and yeah, I didn't make any trades today. I'll talk about my possible trade at the end of this, what I was looking at, but for now, I'll just kind of get into these stocks, and we'll go through them one by one, and we'll see what we come up with. Kronos MJN, a fan favorite in the group, I do believe. Brian Judge pointed out something today, which I'd noticed the other day, but I wasn't really paying too much attention to. But you'll see this came right down here numerous times, a couple times actually, and tapped the $2.40. So let's just zoom this in here. And $2.40 looks like it is acting as a strong support for this stock. You see, this is where the breakout was. Originally, we popped up, we broke out of it. We went on to the next day. We pulled back down just below it, and then pulled up to close at the end of the day. Then the following day, it looks like we popped up, and then we came back down to close right on 240. Next day, same thing. Popped up, week opened, came down, almost touched 240, went up, and then we were off to the races after that. This was the big run for MJN. Everyone was just in awe of this. Some guys made some money, guys and girls, and some of us just kind of sat back. And then it pulled back, bounced off this 260, and then it went on a nice big run up to 346. And it couldn't break this 346, and I'll call it 350 level. Some people get really stuck on 350 or $2 or whatever the support and resistance may seem, but it's give or take. It can be plus or minus 10 cents sometimes. So 346 topped out here at 342, and then that was it. We had the big sell-off. March 8th, this was the big sell-off. We got bought back up, and then we thought it popped up. We thought we were going to be good, and then we consolidated here a little bit, and then we rolled over, and now here we are. We came down, we tapped 240. March 8th, we came down, we tapped 240. So is this the new home? Is this the new base here? I don't know. It still looks to me like we're in a downtrend. I haven't seen confirmation yet of a reversal, but safe to say, if you wanted to take some entry on some stocks, any of these bases that I show today, you could go on a risk versus reward by jumping into a stock. If you'd gotten into Kronos here in the 250 range, if it looked like it was going to break out of 240 and go down, you just jump out right away and take the 10-cent loss. The upside, hopefully, I see resistance here at 280 because it came up here, it touched 280, came back down. Same thing with here. It opened up, it went up to 290, it came back down. And then obviously we have the psychological $3 resistance point. So I would say I would like to see this stock kind of consolidate, bounce around here in between 280, maybe 250 range, and then start to climb back up into this $3 mark. So could be some possible plays going on in here. It all depends, though. I mean, we all know these things can just break down and away they go, but they tend to respect certain rules. This is a rule. This $2.40 support line is a rule, and it started here. It started here when it broke out. It came back here, it almost tested it. It popped up, but this was still when it was in the bull run, because this was just a slight pull off and people selling off from this first breakout of, real big breakout of $3. And then it pulled right back, and then we got into, bears took over the market. We had some bad comments by Spicer around here. This looks like when the capital gains rumors started coming around, and then we came down here into budget talks today. So RSI on the daily 45, sitting right in the middle. So not overbought, oversold, just hanging out right in the middle there. And then that's what I got for MJN Kronos Group. So we'll head off to Fira, which I didn't cover. I haven't covered in a while. Same thing. Let's look at this support line. When we go into a bull run, I'll start covering resistance lines more, because that is something that never gets talked about, and we really need to focus on resistance, because where are you going to sell your stock? Where are you going to jump out of the stock? This is great for trying to find a bottom and an entry, but on these guys that all were climbing up, and November 16th, we thought, oh, the sky was the limit. This is going to go forever. Well, a lot of us were in for a shocker, especially some of us newer traders. People that were familiar with the way markets run made money here. But, a lot of new traders that jumped in this MJ bandwagon, some of them are bag holding up here, or some of them took their losses down here and never thought it was going to recoup. So, the word pot bubble and all that was thrown around. But anyways, regardless, so this was the big breakout point, the $6 mark. Everybody remembers this for Afira, APH. You know, we came down here to a low of $4 at one point. I think people just had almost written this stock off. And if you look, this $4 mark right over here was also where it broke out originally when we went to the upside in the run up to November 16th. So we came down here, we tested $4, we rolled up, we tested $5.75, we came down, we went to go test again, came back down, we tested $5 support, again $5 support a few days later, and then we curled up, and then we had our breakout. We broke right out, everyone was in shock, oh my god, we sold off here, we rolled down, we tested $6 support again, we came up, tested $7 support. This was the big APH bull run that everybody was excited for. Again, came up, tested $7 support. March 8th, we sold off on Spicer comments, tested $6 support again, and then we popped up. And then it's actually, you know, it's been a slight oozing, slumpy downtrend until today. Again, we came down, we tested almost $6 support. I think it was like 609 or something. Yeah, low was 609. I was watching it today, and then it got bought up a little bit towards the end of the day, and we closed at 622. But we opened at 644 with a high of 645, and then, you know, came down and came back up. So 1, 2, 3 tests, triple bottom, and this is actually almost 4 tests of $6. Usually, see when you see multiple taps on a resistance to support line, you'll either see a breakdown or break up to it. Look at over here. These are not exactly the same, but here's a triple top essentially, right? Well, same thing over here. Here's essentially a triple top. Like I said before, it doesn't have to be an exact number. This was on a run up towards $7, but it got cut short at $7.75. Came down here, built up a little speed, came right back up, didn't hit $7 again, high $6.96, came back down, consolidated, traded hands, another little run, $6.98, a little closer, so 1, 2, 3 chances at it, and then, oh, down we went, right? 1, 2, 3 chances at it, down we went. So, you know, these patterns are real. This is how it happens, and you see it all the time. Look at this, down here. These are so negative. We're stuck in a bear market, so I'm just showing negative trends, but let's go back to here. 1, came up, tested $4, didn't work out for them. Came up again, tested $4, didn't work out so hot. Came up again, tested $4. See how it consolidated here? It got tighter and tighter. The range, let me draw a trend line. Bottom here. This little ascending triangle. So we consolidated, we got tighter, we tested, tighter, tested, tighter, and then see you later. Off to the races. Look at that breakout. That was, I think, yeah, I wish I'd got in on that action. I was up here, but not on this stock. But anyways, there you go, right? So here you go, same thing. Tighter, 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 breakdown, right? Tighter, well, not so much. Well, yeah, I guess if you drew a straight line across and angle up, you know, got a little tighter, and then broke down to a downtrend. So APH, again, looks like we're seeing a bottom here. If it is, I would expect a bit of consolidation, and it will start testing resistance at 650, 660, 675, and then 675 is right here. And then you know what? We should see a run to $7. We should. If the market is bull. The comments today on the budget and stuff relieved some ease on capital gains from what I heard. I didn't listen to it myself, but that's what some of the other traders were talking about. So, okay, we'll check out Aurora. Same thing. Surprise, surprise. So this one, you know, this one goes pretty long actually. Looks like it had trouble in holding the 220 mark here, came down. We saw the big breakout at 220 all the way up, came down, tested 220 again, rolled down, broke just under it, tested the whole dollar because the whole dollar and the half dollar are always psychological resistance. Popped back up, came down, tested it, and then we had our breakout. This was the breakout, and this is where we saw Aurora kind of rangy bound in that 230, 240 to 250, 260 mark for a while. I think it was here it had its bought deal, came down. We were watching this compared up with EMH, similar bought deal, a couple days behind. they both did the exact same thing. They both came down, they found a floor, they consolidated, and they started to curl up. They curled up and they had a breakout, and we started to reach, pre-bought deal highs. We even popped up a little higher, and then can't remember what happened here with this gap down. I believe this was Spicer's comments here again, March 8th. We sold off here, and we thought we were consolidating, but we consolidated down into we consolidated down into a downtrend, and then we broke off here. Again, capital gains rumors, and here we are again, sitting on 220, 227 we closed at, but came down, popped on 220. So what's in store for it? You tell me. We're sitting here low on the RSI, not totally oversold, but sitting lower on the low end of the spectrum. So maybe a little bounce around it here in the 240 to 260 range. We know this stock loves 240, 260 from what its previous price action has done. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we saw in the future. And then I'll just touch on UR, which has always been a favorite of mine. I've been out of the trade for a while. I think I got out. I sold. Where was it? I sold right here on this run up to $2, and then we came down, and then I sold. I think there was some financing around here. I jumped out, and it came down, and it popped up, and then it rolled off again. It hasn't done much since, but here we go. We'll draw a price line across, and we'll just have a quick look at it. So again, $1.50, $1.60, whatever you want to call it. We gapped up through that mark, so we kind of took off from that mark. We came down, we tested it again, we went back up, and you can see this stock. Sorry, excuse me, guys. This stock. Sorry, let me get this out of the way. This is an alert, email, text alert of mine, because I love this stock, so I always keep the email, text alert on. But there we go. Move that out of the way. So again, there's this descending triangle. So descending triangles can have explosive power sometimes because it consolidate. Right around here, it's going to just decide, is it going to break through this trend? And if it does, it'll have some punch to it. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 1 or 2 day move back up towards $2. If it doesn't, which it's poking under, we could break down and we could find support down here. This is kind of the last time it bounced around in support resistance levels, and same around here. So kind of 150, half dollar, or even a little lower, 140. Is it going to do that? Again, if we could predict the stock market, we would all be rich. If it was easy, it would just be the way, right? So we'll just keep an eye on it. I mean, you could buy some stock right here at 158 and set a stop loss at 150 or just under 150. If you see it start to break down that level, well, you're going to end up in the 140s. So you could jump out. So I mean, if you see it climb up a little bit here, then you could jump in with a nice base of I have to say like 155. Might be safe, and wait for it to curl up. And if it doesn't, you can break even or get out of the trades. I will go over IDXG, which is the other stock I was looking at this morning. I planned this out last night, and I didn't trade it today because I don't know. Confidence is a little shot, and it was busy at work, and I watched it, but I just didn't make a move on it. So I looked at this last night. I scanned for this. I scanned highs of yesterday and percentage gainers of yesterday. So this was yesterday, here, Tuesday. So it's pretty much ran flat all day, along with just over $2, so 210. Then right at the end of the day, it started to pop up. This gray shadow line right here is after hours, so this is the end of the market. So it started to pop up and it started to climb, and it climbed 20 cents, 25 cents, in a matter of, what do we got here? 340 in 15 minutes. And then it came into after hours and it came up and made a nice high of 273. So I thought, oh, maybe it'll have some continuation tomorrow, or maybe it'll run out of gas and I could be able to short it from 275 back down to $2. So I watched it here, and then morning was right here. It didn't really gap up a little bit, or it didn't really gap up, and then pre-market it just kind of bounced around in this level. Looks like it tested the 270s again, and then it opened up and it sold off a little bit. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll short. And just as I was thinking about it, it popped up here. I was like, that would have sucked big time. I would have gotten pretty squeezed out of my short and taken a nice loss. And then I thought, okay, switch your mind over. I got to start thinking bullish. And I watched it, and every time it made a candle, it'd pop up, then have these huge pullbacks. I mean, there's 292, and it would pull back down to 281, 10 cents. That's usually what I set for a stop loss, is around 10 cents. With no prior support or resistance to base it off of, especially from previous days. I was just like, this out of the gate momentum style trading is, warrior trading style. It's not my style. But I watched, and I thought, okay, maybe if it hits a top, I'll go for the short. And I'll try out a short, because I just figured, I know these styles of stocks, they run out of gas, and then they do exactly that. So I actually hovered on my finger from about this, looking for the $3. Oh, it's down here. I was hovering on my finger over the mouse for a short around $3, and then it just kept going and going and going. I thought, okay, well, maybe this is one of those stocks and one of those days where this thing's just going to go and halt and maybe explode higher and just keep rolling. So parabolic shorts are pretty tough to go after, but I mean, you got to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. So I just watched it. I literally watched every minute of this on the chart and on the level 2, finger hovering over my mouse, and I missed it. So here it goes. It fell off. It tried 344, essentially 2 times. It tried it there, pulled back, had a little run up, tried it again at 344. This is essentially a 350 half dollar resistance. And then I wanted to do it, and it came down, and then I got scared here, and it rolled back up to 330, which I should have expected. After a big drop, what do we usually see? We usually see, some sort of pullback on the first one. And then that was it. It just couldn't hold it, and it just fell and fell, fell. Here we go. Probably I would love to say that I would have got out around here when I saw these couple red candle or green candles, because realistically down here all of this action was just a nice little wash. These big steep drops, you can't, it's hard to short in them. You have to trust yourself and jump in up here. So I didn't get in it, but I got to watch it, and sometimes that's just good of experience. So, and it helped me to confirm building my watch list for the morning. So evening time, I'll scan after the after hours. I'll scan the after hours, and in the morning I'll correlate them with what pre-market's doing, and then narrow that down a little more and pull the charts up and watch them into the open, and then see what happens and wait for some sort of setup. Don't really like parabolic moves out of the gate. They're very unpredictable, but that's a play. You had essentially probably would have got in here 270, because you want to break. We saw that pre-market highs were 275, 270, 280. You would want to get in around here for a pretty big move, so 50-cent move or more. And then if you were going to flip over to the short, you would either caught 343 down to 315, so a 30-cent move, or you would have waited for this move probably down to here, 330 down to 280 possibly, so 50-cent move. So there's a lot of money to be made right there on, even if you were just trading 200 shares at a time, chance for a couple $100. So and that's the way it goes. You just have to look for these plays and open your eyes a little bit and your mind to other plays other than what you're stuck looking at the numbers on the screen. Like I said the other day, watching weed go up 3 cents and down 4 cents and up 2 cents, it doesn't benefit you. You don't learn anything from that. Your money's either in it or it's not, and if it's not in it, put your eyes elsewhere or find an entry on the stock that you're obsessed with. And if your money's in it and you're down or you're up or whatever, you need to pay relative attention to it. But for the most part, don't stare at the same stock over and over again. Open your eyes up to something else. Maybe there's a big move in here. Here's this is a daily. This is the intraday chart for IDXG. These are like the 6-month charts. These MJ stocks just like grinding. Well, all of that move in 6 months just happened in. If you went on the short side, in the first couple hours of the market being open, 10 o'clock. So from market open to 10 o'clock, you had the exact same amount of movement that you had in here. Yeah, it's hard to get in there, but set risk versus reward, discipline, practice, confidence, those are all the things you need. What do you do to buy these stocks up here, or this stock over here, or this stock over here? Buy on fundamentals and hope? Sure, if that's what you want to do. buy on the company because you see future in the company. Another, not a bad reason to buy. That's how investing started. Companies raised capital so they could progress their company, and you invested in the company because you saw a future with the company going forward. But they're so affected by outside influences. These are affected by outside influences too, but these are immediate and they're price based and they're momentum based, and it's really just audience and traders watching this, making this move. This is just money exchanging hands, all the way up and down, and that's it. And then it flatlines and it's done, and it's over with. This is, can be constant growth, or it can be. Politicians are running the show right now, as we've just seen, with talking about capital gains and budget cuts and other things that are going on in the country. Because I'm not a big fundamentals guy. I pay attention to them somewhat to see how they affect the general economy, but I don't pay too much attention to them. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye on legislation, what it's affecting in the market, but it's not going to kill me if it goes the other way, because I'm not heavily invested in these stocks. I have my plays, and I'm holding through a couple dips on some of them, and it is what it is. So, always a lesson learned. Hope you enjoyed my little movie that I made, and we'll keep going from there. Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, again, I didn't trade, so I sold my wonderful DRS play yesterday, or Monday, so I'm sitting at $928.14 in my small account, and I'm looking forward to breaking that over $1,000. Really, really want that. So probably get a little more aggressive here tomorrow, and don't think I'll trade on Friday. All right, that's it. Bye.